G'day, my name's Knispel, and today I'm going to be converting Elon Musk into Shiba Coin. So, today's video we're going to be going over Zavod again. I thought I would come out with this gameplay because it was simply probably one of my better rounds of playing Zavod, and also it was a game I wasn't expecting to turn out to be such a huge game as well. So halfway through the game I kind of actually meme around a little bit after I die, because I was like, oh whatever, I've died once so it doesn't really matter, but it ended up turning out to be a really fantastic game. Before I get into Loadout, I just quickly talk about, this is what I normally do on Zavod. I'll come into this middle flag area and try and shut off the whole rush to their center flags, because once you got the center flags it's actually really hard for the other team to make a bit of a comeback unless they put a significant amount of resources into focusing one flag or the other, which you can really counter, which I'll talk about it later. Also, I don't have to end up versing the RD truck at the start of the game as well, which is really frustrating. This map will be infinitely made better if it didn't have the RD truck, but I kind of get it if it's trying to clear the rooftops and all that, but at the same time there's two choppers, so I just don't see the value in that. Anyway, I hope you guys have your favorite beverage in hand. Tell me what you're drinking below. I would love to hear what you're drinking. It's just my thing, you know, little quirk. So the loadout I'm using today is the thermal camo with AP shell, HMG and active protection. The reasons why we use active protection is simply it's able to negate damage for a period of time. We also are running the HMG because it just has the better killing potential, especially running into multiple enemies. Like the canister shell can be extremely effective, especially against effective AT, but you're coming around some corners on this server in the high population servers and you just run into like 6 or 8 people, and you just need to be able to put out that extra DPS per second to kill all those people, and it's just invaluable. Also, the canister here is only effective up to a certain range, and if you're trying to shoot people off head glitches or tall buildings, it just gets really frustrating, and the HMG can give you that headshot multiplier that you're looking for to really kill those people very quickly. I'm running the thermal camo just to be a little bit more cheeky in my gameplay, so I can be a little bit more aggressive and sneaky. So what the thermal camo can provide in this map is, because there's plenty of vegetation and cover, you can kind of get yourself into this kind of head glitchy positions for the tank, and it's really hard for them to kind of see you unless they're really focusing at a certain range, unless you close the gap and you're really close to them. So for me versus another tank there, he could probably easily see me, but it's more like those mid-range engagements. It really becomes useful, because normally tank 1v1s are decided by who shoots first. There isn't really much more to it. It's just simply who gets the shot off first and just getting the better angle, and that's about 1v1ing for tanking. Nothing too in-depth there. So what we're going to be going over today is simply some basics again of Zavod. If you've already seen my previous video before on Zavod, you're going to probably get some repetitive record moments in this, but bear with me, you're probably here watching the gameplay anyway, and the bonus commentary on the side's just there for your personal enjoyment. Also, while we keep going on with this loadout, the active protection, we've got the AP shell, which is the balance between the two shells for killing potential on anti-vehicles, the HMG, and once again the thermal camo, which basically covers all the points that I'm covering today. You can use HE plus autoloader or AP plus autoloader. Just be aware that when you push up really aggressively, you're more likely to get Moby hit, and that could be the death sentence that you will suffer if you get in a really sticky situation. So let's talk about the gameplay from here on now. You can see here that both of their vehicles are up, and I'm trying to avoid this LOV from getting behind me. I saved my active protection so that when I go to peek him, I basically use it to eat the toe shot that he has on me, so I don't get not only no mobility hit, I take away the possibility of me being hit for 40 damage, because if he has a gunner and he gets out at the same time and you both shoot a rocket, they can drop my health really quickly and I will be in a very dangerous situation. Right here, I kind of trying to help out my teammate here with the AA, and he's running the Zoomy rockets, but like the damage has already been done, so I just put in a little bit more damage just to help him out. When you're in vehicles and you're on a map that has several vehicles, you want to try and work together as a team. The more you work together as a team, you're more likely you're going to be able to really get up into the enemy's face, push up onto the flag, and get really aggressive here. You can see here the way I'm pushing. I'm pushing with my teammates. There's no point pushing up and you have no team support around you, because if you verse good players, all they're going to do is going to be like, alright, let's not show our face first. They'll all circle you, get into positions where they can take you down really easily, and all of them will come and shoot you at once, and you, just like that, you're back on the spawn screen. So yeah, aggressive tanking has its perks, and it just feels, you know, like asserting your dominance, flexing your ego, and just getting up in the face, and it is very addictive. But you're useless if you basically run, charge into the enemy, kill 5 people, die, didn't even win the flag. You gotta pick the fights that you can win and lose, and try and chew up the enemy tickets as much as possible, while also providing support for not only defending flags but also attacking flags. You just gotta be really switched on what's going on around you and being effective. Now that guy right there got a very good and lucky glitch shot. I'm not sure that if it was from the bottom or above that he got me. Yes, there is actually 2 ways to glitch shot in the tank. There is the top of the turret and underneath the belly. I might bring it up and show you in some clips later, but like, given that 2042 is around the corner, there's almost no point for me showing all these extra secrets that a lot of tank pros or competitive players didn't even really know about. Now back on up, get my repair tool out, get some HP onto my vehicle so I'm back at full health, and push on back up. One of the things you want to try and master is your escape and exit route, so you can quickly get out to repair. I basically commented my teammate here as well to come back to me so that I can bait the tank out, so he's just basically a free kill. Because a lot of times what happens is a tank will see an AA and they'll be like, oh, that's a free kill, and they'll chase it down, and we use that to our advantage, and he basically is a free kill for us. You can see here the position I'm holding is a really good spot, and the reason why for that is you can basically focus on a lot of the spawn points and really rack up some kills there. But the way I'm also angling myself, I'm trying to avoid getting hit by rockets, because you can get into that position right there, and some of the spawn points are really generous and they can get a really good angled shot on you. Now, just before, I would have loved to point out, but I was ranting, the guy that was on A flag with the tow launcher, that is a very rat/gigabrain play that I've seen that's actually got me killed a few times. When you are pushing up in this area and holding up this area, and the enemy team starts to really focus that A flag, just be careful and keep an eye out on the big hut or what's going on around you and the sounds of the rockets going past you. If that rocket is coming from that tow launcher at A, because that will be a death sentence. For example, if you push up into where this little spawn area that you can farm, and that enemy tank pushes you, or a couple of ATs, they hit a couple of rockets on you, and so you're already on like 60 health or so, right? If that rocket hits you then from behind, that's a disable hit. You're not moving, and then you'll get followed up by 2 more rockets, or their tank will push you, and you're back on the spawn screen again. It's a very cheeky play that sometimes a lot of people get caught out on, so keep that one in note. Now you can see here I'm basically being absolutely bullied by MPT lower rockets and a whole bunch of other projectiles. I know my tank is dead meat, so I jump on out and I try to do my best to see if I can, you know, get a couple of extra kills here and there. So I come out, get my ACW out, my trusty G18 in hand, get a couple of kills, see if I can farm up with a few others. And I'm just like, you know what, I know the tank's going to respawn again, so I'm just going to be cheeky and keep my little kill streak here. See, with the games where they have these high ticket rounds, you can kind of get away with more cheesy things like this and just farm up a kill streak. Once I die, it's like, yeah, whatever, no point in crying over spilt milk, and I just keep on playing. And when I come back here, I just simply sit on where the spawn point is. Yes, I am that much of a nerd that I know where the spawn points are, and the reason why I would do this is because you would actually beat the deploy screen spawn, as you just can see here. I'm pretty sure there must be fast vehicle spawn on, so we're back into the action again. So one of the things you need to keep an eye out on is if they want to reiterate, if they hold A flag, come on back, see if you can assist it out and help it out. If you can't, there's not much you can do because there's that whole underground area, and it's just physically impossible to get the tank into the bottom area there and actually do anything about it. So you can only divert yourself to that flag as so much as possible. And so the best thing you can do is just babysit your next flag and try and get up onto this middle area here and support your team. Absolutely choking this right here, please forgive me. Well, yes, one thing you need to also consider is all the C4 quads that will come out on the map for you. This is a really good map to teach you how to deal with C4 quads. You can see here I'm in a very lucky situation here where I've managed to get a mobility hit on some of the vehicles, and I'm trying to get some extra damage on them. I almost get absolutely destroyed by an MBT rocket there, and I'm on like 26 HP, so I need to pull up back here and get some reps off. You can see with all these potholes, it makes it very difficult to like kind of drive straight whatsoever. I'm a little bit panicky right here, I'm not going to lie. I probably didn't even need to drive that far back to wrap, but I'm just trying to be more safe than sorry later, which is easily achievable with the ticket count here. You can see me checking the big HUD, and what I'm trying to do there is just checking to see if any of their vehicles are going to push me, because most vehicle mains that are pretty good at the game and they can see that you're low, what they will do is they'll push you straight up and really hard, and they forget to unspot themselves, and then you just pull up the big map and you can just see that they're about to come rush you, and so then you can kind of leave it to the very last second to get back into the tank and shoot back at them. And so you can draw out the duration of the fight and either make them run out of shells and they have to pull on back, or make them more hesitant to come push you. Now you can see this IFV is pushing way too up here and basically suffers the consequences. I push on up here and we're trying to make sure that they don't actually get this flag here, because once they get this flag here, it's really hard to come back on this game. Once you kind of get like one flag left, it's really easy to be spawn trapped on, and especially if they have the arty truck to help them, that's even the bigger nightmare that you do not want to deal with as a tanker. I'm pushing up along the side here because my mate just got killed, and I'm trying to find out what's going on here. So I try and come up to the side here, see if I can shoot some of these guys off the top of the roof. It's actually very cheesy, some of the strats that I've seen lockouts on Zavod, where they basically will hold the roof, get a couple of bipods, and just rain death from above, and it's really horrible as an infantry player. You might as well just pull out a sniper, try and shoot them and, you know, get it over and done with, or just try and get the transport heli and get roof control. You can see here I'm trying to help out our team, get a good position to push up here. There's plenty of cover from up this hill area here and pushing down, because they can get into the tunnel area or into that little burn area for the flag. So these side alleys on both sides of Zavod, they're kind of like good setup positions to get ready for pushes back into the middle, at least for like pub gameplay. You can kind of get a bit more explory and take advantage of like the geography of these maps and get a little bit more creative. And what I'm trying to do here is stopping them getting on the roof so that my team can move up here. I'm about to make a very critical error here because I got two vehicles in front of me, and I'm pretty concerned that I'm going to get brushed by this tank, but I'm pretty sure that this AA is not going to push me, and which is my biggest mistake right here, and I get absolutely punished for it. If you know you're going to get into a 2v1 with two vehicles, it's simple math, you're going to lose, and I got exactly what I deserved right there. So never underestimate on the other team, especially even in pubs, what the coordination of the enemy team is. You can see here I'm trying to get a little cheeky revenge kill here, so I'm trying to jump into the transport chopper and destroy him from the stratosphere. It doesn't work out, not to give you any spoilers, but it's pretty fun sometimes to just meme around like this, because 2042 is just around the corner, so why take it super seriously at this point? Also, I think probably one of the things a lot of tank mains or inspiring tank mains to forget to do is expand the horizons by being infantry players as well. I think some of the best improvements I've made becoming a tanker has actually improved my inf gameplay, and one of the reasons why for that is understanding how infantry map flow works, so how they position themselves, where they go, what are the safest routes to avoid vehicles and things like that. Once you start taking notes of things like that, then you will start to know how to deal with really good infantry players, especially if they know how to anti-tank well as well. Also, another thing, it's just something different, and so that you can experience a different part of the game, and so you're not tunnel visioning yourself into one aspect of the game. And sometimes that's what happens, is you need to take a break from one thing that you're trying to focus really hard on, and then focus on something else, and then come back onto it. And so mastering inf gameplay, especially when Battlefield's part of the core concept of it is playing infantry, I think it's extremely wise to all be an infantry main and inspire maybe to master one particular vehicle. It's fun to master all the vehicles, but that's just a really good rule of thumb I would like to start off with, is find a particular vehicle that you're interested in and main infantry on the side, and then work your way up from there. Once you feel you're really comfortable with one particular vehicle, then move on to the next one, and then the next one, and just keep the game interesting for yourself. And it's also the best way to keep yourself motivated playing any video game, really, is finding new things to learn so that they challenge yourself and you can grow as a gamer from there. Now this right here is, I'm trying to control this mid section here again, moving around with all the terrain that I have, popping my active protection, predicting that this guy's going to shoot a rocket, but his reaction was a little delayed, so it was a little bit of a wastage right there. But once again, always assume that your enemy has a brain and knows how to use it, unlike I'm right now trying to English properly. I pull them back up into this very typical position, which I like to hold a lot of the time, and I'm kind of noticing that we've got this section pretty under control, so I should either just look at what's happening on the flag caps, or start looking for positions to mop up from stragglers from spawning on the flags that we said that we have just captured. You can see here that I am a little bit wary, or that there's a little bird next to me, especially when he keeps kind of like going for this back area. I'm just kind of a little bit cautious if they're going to back cap us. Speaking of back capping, I do see that bees being back capped, and the rule of thumb is, because you're in a vehicle, you can get there a lot faster than infantry, so you need to pull on back up here and try and help out your team. My aim's a little bit shocking there, and what I'm trying to do here is kick the people off the flag as well as kill them, so I can take them on back and, you know, make the efforts for nil here. One of the things that's a little bit tricky around this B flag is the spawn points being very well generous to the infantry spawning back on it. And the best thing you can really do if you have the time and want to put some real effort into it is demolishing all these buildings, so it makes it a little bit easier to predict and see where they are, but also at the same time there's only a few places that they can really spawn in. And when they're trying to hide on that flag and really rat it out and hide in all the corners, there's actually a lot of places you can learn where to throw a shell in, and if they're hiding inside the rubble of the building, it's basically a free kill. It's not even worth their time. You can see here, I'm just taking the time to make sure that I clear out this whole entire flag and be able to push back up and fight the enemy on their side of the map. Plus, at this point, there's not much that we really need to do, because we actually do have some pretty decent map control at this point, and the vehicles have only just got back up to the middle flags for me to respond to. We do have the artichoke as well, I'm pretty sure as well, so they're having a really hard time, and what's even going to make it a harder time now is that we have their LRV. Now, I try and get some side shots in the tank here. I'm pretty sure he just died, so that's no longer a threat to us. One of the things you also need to consider about the give me flags on this map in particular is that that's the spawn point for the LAV, and if you lose your own LAV for your side of the map, it becomes a real hassle, because once again the tank starts to get outnumbered. It's versing 2 lavs and a tank and an AA. It's starting the map they're building up against in their favor. Now right here is a very common spot if you're solo sitting in the tank to throw your fire nade. and the fire nade can just deny that whole push up there. There's nothing they can do really to get back up on, and it really bottlenecks them down, and there's only two ways they can get out of that area, unless they trigger the revolution, and then there's an extra exit for them to come out of. I want to take note of this real quickly. Once you actually hold these mid flags and they only have their E flag or the train card area, or vice versa if you flip the roles on whichever side of the map that you're playing, that little area up there is really good, because one, you can dip inside of the buildings when you have laser locks on you. Two, there's so much potential for you to hold that area and kill all the infantry, because they come out of all those tank graveyard right there, and they have to make a dash for about 20-25 meters to get to the flag, and you can just mow them all the way down. The only way they can really counter you there is if they start throwing flare nades and smokes and a whole bunch of AT rockets, but because you've got plenty of cover in this inside area of these flags, you can really make it easy just to survive all that heat coming in on you. And it's even better because you can kind of actually dodge the MBT law rockets as well, so it's really useful to be in this section here. And if they got roof control, it's really hard for them to really do anything about it unless they dive on down and come and fight you. Now, I was very lucky to get away there. I almost got C4 from the roof there. Speaking of being C4'd, the enemy C4 quad the AA of our team, and very ballsy play managed to steal the IFV as well. So if that was switched out for a couple of more seconds, that could have ended really bad for me. So it always pays to pay a bit of extra attention to what's going on in the surroundings around you to avoid awkward situations like this. I get on out and trying to do a bit of reps, and my teammates helps me out a little bit, doing a little cheeky repair on the side here. We're in a little awkward situation here where we've got these guys on the roof trying to jump on down with their C4. You just got to be really careful, because this whole area on the roof, if you're under here and you're not paying attention, you can just get so easily distracted for a split second and they'll C4 quad you, and then that's it. You can see that really are stepping up their jihad games on us right now. So go back to the B flag, because if they kept the B flag, there's another spawn point for them to flank me and use the C4 quads, or any AT weapon in particular for that to mention. It's just rule of thumb, tanking 101. Once again, I'll preach it. If you're new here or a veteran, do not let enemies get behind you. Try and minimize every opportunity for infantry, vehicles, or anything to get behind you to do damage to you, and you're more likely you will survive in a tank. Now, we come back to the center of this map again, trying to scan for targets to hit. I missed an opportunity here to take out the transport chopper. I was a little bit more focused on where the spawns were coming in on C, but now I do have the opportunity to get these guys that are using the tunnel way, which is really smart, but I already know how to counter this, so once again I throw a fire nade in there, and there's only really one route that they can take to go get out of here. I push on up, put another fire nade in there for good measure, and try and help out the team, making sure that we defend this flag here so that our team can hold another spawn point in the center of the flag. You can see I'm getting laser locked in here, but the way I'm positioning myself, it means nothing, so I can target prioritize everything else around me rather than having to worry about him. All that laser lock's going to do is just get a couple of people to stand out in the open, become free kills for the rest of my team, and they're all going to start shooting their rockets, and they're just going to hit the roof. So it does no damage to me, and I'll be fine. We're finally getting a really good foothold here, and the enemy team is super unlucky at this point because they've got a tugs on the roof here, and so they're all spawning in, right? And their whole team knows that they're already about to jump on down onto the flag burn, and there's nothing they can really do about it. It's super cheese, but it's super effective, and that's what you're going to get in Battlefield pub gameplay. That tank kind of got in a really bad situation, and I took advantage of it. It was a bit unfortunate because, like, he's trying to put up a really decent fight, but there's not much he can do because there's a lot of teamwork going on our side. Everyone's kind of like spotting where the enemy vehicles are. Everyone's in positions to like take it out. He's not having a really good time, and yeah, I don't blame him. Like, it's when a team coordinates really well on Zavod, these like menacing vehicle mains starting to come it comes a little bit harder to get all those extra kills. I basically come back here, farm up the spawn points that are very well known on Zavod, and once again, I'm not sure if this C4 call was going for me or he just was kind of like, well, he knows I'm there, I'm just going to try and go get the other vehicle. The LAV pushes back up. I try and get a little side shot in there. We get hit it for mobility. I check around while I wait for my shell to load again. Getting really aggressive, get a good angle so I increase the damage, and I finish him off. And now we're basically in a point where the enemy team is in a really dire situation. Because they only got really, one flag at this point and another one that they're contesting. So the options are very limited for their spawn points right now. I do take the time here to have a little look around to see if there's any spawns that I have to worry about, some strugglers that managed to survive us taking the center flags, and get a little bit of a wrap off and kind of like reassess the situation. As you can see, once again, they're taking full use of their transport vehicles to keep themselves in the fight, and I take out the two guys that spawned off that transport chopper here. Once again, assessing the situation, and I decide where I'm going to push myself up. I can see my mate's pushing the side alley here, so I'm going to back him up here because the AA is a dominating creature, but it's not invincible. It can be destroyed. It's got plenty of room and potential to farm. It has utility to take on vehicles and deter them, but it definitely can't beat a tank. So pushing up with my mate here, I'm trying to make sure that he's in a position where he's not going to get rushed. All I'm doing here is basically watching all the spawns that are coming off from the flag in front of me and farming them and really holding down this angle. The rest of the team is, I think, can see that they're trying to push the other side, and so they're kind of trying to deal with that. While me and my mate are just pretty much holding this angle down all by ourselves, waiting for the rest of the team to get ready for wiping off the other infantry from the other side of the map, get into better positions where they can push up and get into the fight. So you can see how much of a power play this spot's right here, and I'm just taking full advantage of it and just calling the shots here. I don't really need a push just yet, but I'm in a position where I'm making it absolutely hell for them to do anything here. This is just basically printing kills at this point. You can see an engineer is getting pretty creative and using the the wally bot to try and kill me, and we try and pull him back out because my mate goes down and there's not much we can do. This is just a simple fact of attrition right here. They got more spawns, they got more rockets, there's not much I can do. But in the cost for them to try and get to this single flag right in front of us, it's really taken them a lot of effort. Take out the Wallybot by using the HMG, and I finish off another guy that's kind of head glitching, and I'm trying to check to see where that little bird is to my left, but it's not much I can really do at this point, and I'm once again kind of a little bit stumped to figure out what I'm going to do from here. So kind of like default strat right here and come back to the center until I figure out what I'm going to do from here. I'm not gonna lie, I am kind of struggling to do a voiceover for this whole entire video, but it seems to be something that you guys really enjoy, so I really do not mind putting in the effort and trying to do this as best as possible for you guys. If you guys want me in future to do videos where I just do no comms over the top and it's just the raw gameplay, please let me know. Like, I love the idea of my audience communicating to me what they would like to see in the future from as far as my YouTube channel goes. But as far as the audience that I've got that follows my channel, they seem to really enjoy this kind of stuff. And I do not mind, once again, to not sound like a broken record, putting that little bit of extra time and effort in so that I can help you guys learn off my mistakes, my experiences, and give general advice that you become a better vehicle man or even just a better gamer or full stop, because tanking is not the only thing I do in the Battlefield. Anyway, you can see once again this spot that I'm talking about, these two flags in the middle. Once you hold them down, you got this whole roof area to block in a whole bunch of incoming rockets and really just farm their spawn so that they cannot do anything. It's just a really farmy spot to hold down. I back on up and try and clear the roof, which I was pretty unsuccessful. Probably if I didn't miss a couple of shots here and there, those guys would have been dead. So that's my fault right there. I get a little bit obsessed with these guys up here, but it's fair because most of the time in Zavod, you're gonna die is from all this roof control. I finish off that chopper, which I have no idea why he's pushing up like that. He's basically a free kill for our team at this point. And I push on up and see what I can do here. What I'm trying to do here is simply use the flat ground as best as possible while trying to get some really easy early shots on the tank so that I can help my team out. The tank was a little bit in a really sad situation right there. Well, not really sad, just really unlucky because he was kind of like not expecting me to push up and kind of exposed his backside and was punished for it. So, like, the only way you're going to avoid making mistakes like that is by versing good tankers and vehicle players, and what they will do is they'll keep hammering you and punishing you for like just bad fundamentals. And the fundamental that his mistake that he made right there was exposing his backside towards an enemy flag. You want to try as best as possible to avoid your backside being exposed to the enemy, because where do you think most likely you're going to be taking damage from? From front of you, from the direction of the enemy flag, because that's where they spawn and that's where they're going to travel from to get to your flags. So if you keep that in mind and way you're moving your tank chassis, so which way it's facing, you're going to less likely be punished for something like that, and induces good fundamentals about keeping your tank chassis in a position where you take minimal damage, minimal chance of mobility hits, and increase your survivability. So at this point, I'm just trying to hold down this angle, and there's a lot of potholes, and there's not much I can do. Unfortunately, at the same time, I'm not sure if you can overhear that in the background. I spot a C4 quad, and I try and spot it out for mate, but it's too little, too late, and he ends up dying. So I feel really bad. I think I could have probably maybe called that out a little bit sooner, but that's just what Battlefield is. You can see here the transport chopper is gaining a little bit overzealous. I take too long to take that shot once again, and so he's basically, yep, free kill. There's not much that transport chopper was doing right there. What he should have done right there is fly higher and actually fly over the top of the map, so you could at least drop people on the roof to give the team a fighting chance, or then continue to the back flag. Like, it could be like a one-way suicide trip, but at least that way he's going to get people in the fight and at least have a chance to make a comeback. So sometimes you just have to go and accept that that's what you need to do to get your team back into the game. And I'm being really methodical at this point. I'm not giving them any chances to get a shot in the back of me. Like, I literally pulled right back just for that one guy there, killed him, and I come back up and push up here. I do fail to notice now that I'm watching the game footage, there is actually a spawn beacon back there. But at this point, I'm more worried about this transport chopper getting into the roof, but he's already dead. AA takes his out, and I can see there's an enemy tank on the flag in front of us, and he's killing our infantry. So I'm trying to get myself into position to finish him off, which I do. Perfectly timed, come in, finish the job, and push on onto the flag, and start punishing all the spawn points. I've got a couple of infantry around me, and what I've got to be really careful is right now, not to push all the way up. Just push up enough that I'm next to my teammates, blocking off some of the spawn points, waiting for us to neutralize the flag. And then once I've neutralized the flag, I can methodically go through each spawn point, tick them off and go, yep, no enemy spawn there, no enemy spawn there, and then rinse and repeat until we capture the flag, and then move on and consolidate our position on the map. Now, this is the hardest thing to deal with on actually some of these higher tick rounds of Zavod. It's just the sheer amount of potholes everywhere. It just makes it really, really hard to navigate the tank because your turret is just bopping up and down, and it's just throwing off your aim. And so what you got to kind of do here is kind of like just roll back and forward, trying to, like, you know, make them miss these shots. Use your APS as best as you can and farm up the infantry. I'm in a position right here where I wouldn't say completely aggressive, but I'm ready to dive on this flag, waiting for the rest of my team to catch up and getting really in their face. Also, what I like what I'm doing here is where I've positioned myself, it makes it really hard for them to jihad me. So what they're going to have to do is come around the corner, decelerate, go through a bunch of potholes, and then get to me. So it makes it really hard for them to take me out of the C4 quad in this position right here. And once again, I'm just holding my position, waiting for the team to push up and just farming the enemy right now. Also, there are only 50 tickets left, so like there's not much I really need to do besides from just shooting the enemy. I probably could have shelled that tank, that chopper a little bit sooner, but there's no need to because my mate's in the AA taking out him, and all I have to worry about is the infantry. Sometimes you just need to target prioritize and realize that, you know, some jobs you have to leave up to your teammates, trust in them, and keep on fighting. But at the same time, wow, that was a very lucky shot I got on the jihad right there. You just have to deal with it. Anyway, you can see right here, I'm in a really, really dicey situation here, but I really want these kills. I'm right now on a pretty sure 100 kill streak right here, and I'm just trying to get as many kills as possible and go for like PBs at this point right here. I get up on the flag, get in their face, and just really punish the enemy. At this point, I don't even care if I die. It's just all about the sheer amount of kills I'm trying to get out from my team right here. I'm in a little bit of a pickle here. I'm on 19 HP. I'm even repairing on some mines right here, and a jeep's pushing me. But I don't care. I'm getting right in their face. I want to show to them that I'm not going to let them get any further up here. There's almost no point for me to go back to our give me flags at this point because there's so much action just going on here. So I'm just sitting right here and just doing damage to the team, giving them the business basically. Anyway, this round's about to close on up. So if you're still here, thank you for watching. If you learned anything interesting, just enjoyed the gameplay or the commentary in the background, or you were really keen to see 2042 from my perspective playing tanks, I highly recommend hitting the sub, hit the like, and tune in for my future content that's coming around the corner. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching today's content, and next time we're on this battlefield, we're going to be teaching cats how to deadlift. Okay. You think I'm joking, but I'm not. See you next time. Peace. There we go, just beat my record by just a few kills.
That's fucked.